Hey everybody, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today because I want to talk about Steve Harvey, y'all. Steve Harvey is madder than the mofo at the black community. Y'all, I was on YouTube and I was watching a video by a new YouTuber that I just found. And he had this clip of Steve Harvey on his radio show. And apparently Steve Harvey had asked people to call in and, talk about that whole thing with Donald Trump. So this lady calls in and she says, she tells Steve that there's a petition out there to get his radio show, taken off the air, and that people are marching and all of this to get his radio show taken off the air, which I didn't even know that people were actually out there marching. I knew that there was a petition. Y'all, when I tell you Steve went off on her, he went off on her. Now, I'm going to just say this. Steve Harvey took a lot of backlash for meeting with Donald Trump. And he at first was hurt over it, and then he got mad. Now, he has the right to do whatever he wants to do. All of us do. But the thing that trips me out about this little clip from his radio station is Steve lashed out and he turned this back around on the black community. So let me just tell y'all what he said to this woman. I mean, he was clocking out. He told her that he would get out there and march with them. He would get in the middle of the circle with a big sign and he would be out there marching with them. He said that, first of all, black people don't stick to anything, so they probably be out there 2-3 days, no longer, and he wasn't worried about it. He talked about black people being a punk ass, black people, and just went off, and it was ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is, okay, Steve, you mad. And you have a right to be mad. People did clown you all over. People called your radio show and clowned you on the air. And you have a right to be mad. But when you turn that anger back on the people that have supported you up to now, the reason why you are where you are is because of the black community. That kind of makes me feel some kind of way about you. Now, Steve has had all kind of shit going on, in the last few months. And his image has really taken a big hit. So guess what Steve has done, y'all? Steve has hired the real life Olivia Pope, a crisis manager, to help clean up his image. So Steve, you don't want to get Olivia Pope on us? Child, you can't make us like you. You can't make us stop clowning you. You can't make us not want to sign a petition. Y'all, when I heard that he has hired a crisis management team to clean up his image, I was just floored, y'all. Because I'm sitting here thinking, just let it go, Steve. It would have blown over. Just let it go. The fact that you keep on talking about it is what's dragging it on. See, what it is, y'all, is Steve is in his feelings. He didn't believe that this backlash that he got was going to be so big, and we were going to stick together, and we were going to hit his ass in his pocket, because y'all know his ratings have dropped on some of his shows. So he's feeling that pain of what the black community is doing to him. Now, Steve has crossed over. He has his television show, and so now he has white women. That was his goal. He always said that if you can get white women behind you and you have a show, then your show is successful. But see, y'all, the one thing Steve forgot is it's us out here. He forgot he came from us, and it's been us that's been supporting him, and us that have been some of his biggest cheerleaders. But now, he got his white women, and he feeling himself, because he does have a lot of stuff going on. But when you fuck with the black community, when you go somewhere, and as this young brother that I just found on YouTube says, you go somewhere and you buck dance for the white man, you're going to get some backlash from the black community. It is what it is, Steve. Now, we know that you are all in your feelings, and this backlash that you're getting is starting to fuck with your ego. So you get on the radio show, your national platform, and you clown some black woman that you asked your audience to call in, and that's what she did. So you get on your radio show and you clown her on your national platform because you're all in your feelings. I just don't think that's right. I don't think it's right. The woman was just responding to a request that you put out there, letting you know what was going on and how people were truly feeling, and then you just went the fuck off on her. Went off. And you know damn well you're not going to get out in the middle of a crowd of people who are boycotting your shows with no sign and march with them. You know you're not going to do it. First of all, you don't want to get one of your suits dirty, amongst the peasants, because we're all peasants now, because you're up there with your white women and you got your show and you got all this stuff going on. You don't want to, dally down in the ruins with us. But they gave you, these black people that are calling your show, they gave you your nigga wake up call. That's what they gave you. And now you're feeling the heat, Steve. So understand that you come from us. And all we were doing was trying to tell you we don't appreciate you going to meet with Donald Trump. And then that explanation you gave when you came down that elevator after only being up there a hot fucking second wasn't jiving with us, Steve. Now you got all kind of people clowning you. I even heard that the brother, he's emceeing the beauty pageant again. The one that he fucked up on last year and called the wrong name. And I heard that the winner of last year's beauty pageant brought him out some glasses so he wouldn't fuck up this time. Steve is getting clowned all around. They're calling him all kinds of coons and just, bringing up all the stuff that, he's been involved in the last year. There was even a case where he was talking about Chinese people or something, or Asian men, and someone filed a lawsuit against him. Now I think the lawsuit, he either won or it was thrown out, but this is what he's been dealing with this last year. So it's a lot of stuff piling now on Steve, and he's striking out at whoever is in the way. You know, with all this stuff that's going on with him, when you rise up to the level that Steve is on and you got skeletons in your closet, skeletons and bones start falling out. They even pulled up all the stuff about his wife and how she was messing around with these two dope dealers. I think the first dope dealer she had a baby by, and he went to jail for life. Then Marjorie turned around and messed around with his cousin, I think, and had a baby by the cousin. And then I think he got picked up and is doing life also, or is in jail for, something. So Marjorie is sounding like a little bit of a gold digger to me. And then she hit the big one when she met Steve. Now, y'all know Steve was married when him and Marjorie start messing around. And I know a lot of y'all be like, well, everybody got bones in their closet, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is, if I had some bones in my closet and I knew I was a fucking serial cheater, I would not be on television giving advice to women. But, that's how he made his living. He wrote that book. Everybody jumped on board. Well, not me, but everybody jumped on board. So now they're clowning his ass about being married 3 times, and he married the mistress. He did his second wife wrong. All of that stuff is true, y'all. It's true. And yeah, we all have bones in our closet. But Steve, you can't get angry because some of your bones are falling out. That's all I'm saying. And then I'm gonna go back to, the way that he treated that woman and some of his callers that were calling in the show and just telling him about their feelings. He started off fine and then he got mad, and I can understand it because they were coming down hard on him. But again, I just can't understand him lashing out at the very people, meaning the black community. We were there when you were rising to stardom. We went to all those stand-up comedy shows you had. We watched Kings of Comedy several times. A lot of us have watched Kings of Comedy so much that we can recite some of the lines in it. That's how much we supported you. And then now you turn your back on us because you got white women and you think you high on the hall. The very people, Steve, that you step on, getting to the top of the ladder are the same people that you're going to see when you fall back down. And then, another thing that kills me about these black celebrities, once they cross over and they get quote unquote the white people, and then they have this big fall, then that's when they want to come home. The same thing happened to Michael Jackson. He had crossed over, he became big, he really, wasn't claiming his blackness. And when he had that whole scandal with the little boys, then he, showed up at, I think it was the Essence Awards or one of those, awards that's normally, for black people, it's one of our award shows. And he never really came to those shows until he had that big scandal with those boys. Y'all all know about it. Y'all remember when, Michael Jackson, they would call his name in previous years. He would never be there and they would accept the award for him. But right after he had all that scandal, he started showing up at all those shows. And if I'm lying about it, y'all can go back and watch. He even wrote songs, about how the white man out there trying to get us. And I'm not trying to come down on Michael Jackson because, y'all, when I tell y'all I'm a fan and always was a fan of Michael Jackson, I have been. But I'm just making a point that when these black celebrities, reach the top and then they tumble down, it's us there to catch them. So, Steve, the thing was, bruh, you were cooning. You went to Donald Trump, you met up with him, and, you had your little meeting, and now you getting the backlash from it. So, you just going to have to accept it. My advice to Steve is to let it go. Stop talking about it. Don't, invite people to call into your show and discuss it if you're going to get mad. If you invite in constructive criticism and then when the person does it, you go off on a tangent like you did on that woman on your show, then you end up looking stupid. Now, I know that when he was on his radio show that day and he was clowning that woman, his co-hosts were laughing and, just supporting him and just, you know, uplifting him and what he was doing. But I think it was wrong. I think it was wrong. And Steve, you better watch yourself because, like I said, a lot of your skeletons are falling out. And from what I'm understanding, he does not have a good past when it comes to some of the things that he has done. His hands are not clean. Now, in another video, I mentioned that when it comes to these celebrities, y'all, we need to kind of remember that they're people just like we are. I have a lot of people when I do these type of videos, they'll leave comments down, leave Steve alone, and, this and that and other, like these people are gods. Y'all, they're just people like we are. Don't let his celebrity whitewash his background. Y'all say, we all got things in our past that, we're not proud of. Yeah, that's true. But all of us don't get on television and try to make it seem like our lives are, so picture perfect. The fact is that he cheated on his second wife. He did her really bad, y'all. And any woman out there who's been cheated on, y'all understand what that means, the hurt that that woman went through. From what I'm understanding, he even took her child from her or turned her child against her. Now, he's come on television and he's had this national platform to plead his case to y'all. He's kind of poo-pooed his past, and some of us fell for, this whitewashing of his background. But don't be fooled, y'all. I mean, Steve is funny. Steve is a rich celebrity now. He has all these shows under his belt. He has a beautiful wife on his arm, but it took some time for Steve to get to where he is. And he stepped on a lot of people to do it. Y'all check his bio, check his background. Now, I'm not saying don't like him. I'm not saying throw him to the wolves. I'm not saying just put him out there and leave him alone. I'm not saying that. I'm saying accept him for who he is and with flaws and all. And like I said, the way he clowned that woman, he was on a national platform. This was just a little old woman calling in to a radio show and expressing her feelings about something that had just occurred that she watched on television. And Big Bag Steve took that opportunity to blast her. Was that fair? He could have hung up the phone, held his tongue, because he is, like he said, don't forget he's Steve Harvey. Like, that really means something. He could have taken his ego, held it, and then waited till a commercial, cussed everybody out in the studio to get the steam out of him. And then when they came back on, proceeded on like the gentleman that he pretends to be. Him and his suits and all that, and his swag. This is Big Bad Steve Harvey with his suits, and his cue ball head, as the young brother called him and those teeth. Now, let me just clear it up. I like Steve Harvey. I'm just very, very disappointed in him in these last few months. And it's okay for us to be disappointed, y'all. Like I said, these are not gods. They make mistakes just like we do. But in our regular lives, we have to live up and own up to our mistakes. Steve made a mistake when he went to see Donald Trump. He didn't use his best judgment. And he tried to come down and explain it away. And then when he got blasted by the black community, he was in his feelings. And for that, I just feel some kind of way, y'all. So with that, y'all, this is the end of the video, and I would be really curious to know what you guys think about all this stuff with Steve Harvey. Did any of you hear that radio broadcast, hell, I can't even talk now, where he blasted that woman, or did you listen to the people calling in that day when he asked for people to call in, and some of the questions or the statements that the people made in response to him saying Donald Trump? So if you did, leave it in the comment section. I'd be curious to know. And as always, y'all, thanks for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.